And now here's Bernie Pascal in Tampere, Finland. Well, we are having technical difficulties with our hookup between CTV network audio-wise and Tampere, Finland. As you can see, it's the Soviet Union about to get underway against Team Canada. This is the final game of tournament play. The Soviets are undefeated, 6-0. They have beaten everyone but Canada so far. The Canadians' record, 3 wins, 1 loss, 2 ties. Greg MILLEN in goal for Canada. We are still working on getting Bernie Pascal. We are not live in Finland. This is from our control center in Toronto. Play is now underway. Team Canada wins the draw, and they are now pressing early.
There's nothing. We have no mics at all up here. It's Canada and the Soviet Union. There's no score. Wayne Gretzky slips and falls behind his own net. Shapeliev trying to get the puck out. Now the Soviets on the attack, and the player is knocked down. Canada with possession. Gretzky has the puck at center, fires it off the board, and Vasiliev, number 6, circles in his own zone for the Soviets. Vasiliev trying to get that pass up to Vladimir Golikov. He's stopped. It comes back to Brad Maxwell. Shoots it into the Soviet zone, off the board. There's a drive, and that's deflected wide off the stick of Rick Green. A chance now for Cicerelli, hammering away at the side, and he just failed to poke that home. Maxwell inside his own line for Canada. No score. We've played 2.5 minutes here in the opening period in Tampere, Finland, the World Hockey Championships, as Rick Green goes behind his own net. The puck comes to Bobby Smith. Smith up to his own blue line. He's stopped there. Here's a chance now for Kozhevnikov. He was stopped. Gets the puck again. Kozhevnikov, number 16 on the left. He's watched by Bobby Smith, and he missed him as he wants to check the Soviet player. Brian Fropp for Canada backhands the puck out. Vyacheslav, number 14, inside his own line for the Soviets. Both teams at full strength. Puck comes to the Canadian blue line, slapped there and taken by Dale Howardchuk. Howardchuk of the Winnipeg Jets got it over the Soviet line. A chance, Gartner, and it's off the arm of TRETYAK. As Gartner let that bullet drive go. Now the Soviets, Drozdetsky, number 13 on the right. He's squeezed off the play, a loose puck, and that's wide. Drozdetsky behind the net. Gartner's over to check him and knocks the puck off his stick. Howardchuk trying to get it out. The Soviets still have it. It's kept in by FETISOV. Here's a shot, and Greg MILLEN got a piece of that. Back to КАСАТОНОВ. He keeps it into the Canadian zone. The Soviets putting on the pressure. There's a drive. That stops. КАСАТОНОВ keeps it in. Race for it along the boards. Number 2 is FETISOV. Soviets retaining possession. Now the play is broken up by Rick Green, and he'll try to get a face-off, and he succeeds. And with us on the telecast, we'll be back in a moment. This is the World Hockey Championship on CTV. We're back in Tampere, Finland, and we're happy to say we have working with us the general manager of the Minnesota North Stars, Lou Nanne. And Lou, quite a pace in the early going.
Certainly has been, Bernie. That's the best Canada's looked in 2 games. They're playing very, very well, and they had some excellent opportunities at the outset.
Soviets now have possession again in the Team Canada zone. They've been all over the Canadians in the last minute or so. There's a shot. Greg MILLEN makes the save and holds on. A capacity crowd here in Tampere, Finland.
And the Canadian team was very pumped up coming into this game. They've been taking the body. They know that they have to check the Soviets closely. This Soviet team during this tournament has looked as good or better than any Soviet team we've seen before. And they are very, very dangerous. They're quite explosive, can score 3 goals in a very short time. So you've got to be on your toes at all times.
Soviets into this game undefeated. They've won 6 straight games, and they lead the championship with 12 points. Czechoslovakia earlier today defeated Italy 10-0. So Czechoslovakia is second. Here's a chance for Khrushchev, but he couldn't get a shot on goal. It comes back into the Soviet zone. Vasiliev, a pass right up the middle for Makarov off his stick. Larionov carrying on, a shot off the glove of Greg MILLEN. Mark Napier equalized with the Soviet player Babinov. Now the puck comes out to the center ice area. Larionov of the Soviet Union drops it to Big Babinov on defense. Vasiliev passes up on the right to Khrushchev, trying to get that lead pass to Makarov, and that failed. And Canada has possession again. We've played 5.5 minutes in the opening period, and there's no score.
Well, Paul Reinhart's playing tonight. He's had back spasms for the past couple games. He was playing extremely well for Canada. He felt a lot better. He's able to play tonight. John Van Boxmeer is sitting out. The Canadian team, very, very poised right now. They're working hard. They've had a couple of early opportunities, but they got to keep the Soviets off the board and try and get their attack going again.
Rick 5 is out there now for Canada with Wayne Gretzky and Bill Barber. 5 keeps the puck in the Soviet zone. Here's 5, a shot, and TRETYAK made the save. ПЕРВУХИN, a pass up the middle now. Here's a chance for Chapelia. He cleared it on the right side. Kapustin at the side, a shot, and that was off the stick of Shalamov, and it hit the side of the net. Now it comes out to BILYALEDDINOV. He passes on the right to Chapelia, trying to get it in front. And 5 for Canada in the corner after the puck. Referee is Д.Олссон of Sweden. And the 2 linesmen are both from Finland. Now the puck is cleared in. This should be icing. And icing is called. This is the World Hockey Championship on CTV. There's no score between Canada and the Soviet Union. Canada coming close there, right from the face-off. Here's the replay, Lou.
A dump pass by Rick Green through the middle was deflected off КАСАТОНОВ's stick, and it almost bounced right past TRETYAK. TRETYAK had to fall to cover up with Gainey and Bobby Smith bearing right down on him. You see the puck deflect, bounce. TRETYAK had a little problem with it right there.
So it remains scoreless. A close call there in the Soviet zone. Now a chance for Cicerelli, and that shot is stopped. Bob Gainey is checked by КАСАТОНОВ. And a pass up the middle now, the Soviets. Golikov, he cleared it on the left side. Here's Tumanov into the corner. He's checked. There'll be a penalty to Canada. That shot is stopped by Greg МИЛЛЕН. A delayed penalty coming up to Team Canada. That shot goes wide. Now it comes outside the blue line. And backboard is FETISOV. FETISOV on the right side. Number 16, Kozhevnikov. And we're still waiting for the delayed penalty. And finally it's called as Canada gets possession.
Brad Maxwell will go off for holding, giving the Soviets their first power play. One thing you'll notice in the Soviets, they turn that puck up ice very, very quickly. As soon as they get it, their forwards start breaking out. You know, you see things like your forwards got to be back deep. You can't pass across the middle. You don't use transatlantic passes across your own zone, in other words. Yet they do everything. The ice being so wide here, there's almost a quarter more ice surface to work with, so they try everything like that. And since they are such good passers, they are able to break away and capitalize on quick turnovers by the other team. Another thing they do is their high man, usually the center man, he stands way deep in the slot. If they get the puck back to him, he'll shoot off the pass. If not, he'll sort of step into the man coming out to him, allowing the defenseman to take it and go in. Very dangerous on the power play, and they like to work it across the middle by the goal mouth here.
Oh, the Soviets on the power play. Brad Maxwell in the penalty box for holding. There's no score as Craig Hartsburg fires the puck off the glass and down the ice into the Soviet zone. Referee is from Sweden, Д.Олссон. Canada a man short with Brad Maxwell in the penalty box. Now a chance for Khrushchev. Vladimir Khrushchev drops it back to ＫАСАТОНОВ. КАСАТОНОV getting set now. Now he clears it to the opposite side to FETISOV. He's checked as Gartner was right on top of him, but they couldn't get the puck outside the blue line. Now it's cleared off the boards down the ice. And going deep into his own zone is FETISOV for the Soviet Union. He gets the pass ahead. Larionov lets it go. Over the line, BILYALEDDINOV with the pass back to КАСАТОНОВ. КАСАТОНОV a drive and a glove save by Greg МИЛЛЕН.
The Soviets don't even bring their forwards all the way back on a power play. They had Larionov all the way down on our blue line. And when the pass came down, the cheering you hear, Finland and Sweden are tied 1-1 right now in their game. The pass came down and he just sort of touches it and deflects it to an oncoming wing. You're looking at Brad Maxwell serving the first penalty of the game. The Russians on the power play.
Score from Helsinki is 1-1, Finland and Sweden. A victory there for Finland would put them into the championship round and would eliminate Sweden. That's a big game. 1-1 with 9 minutes gone in Helsinki between Finland and Sweden. Here it's scoreless with Team Canada a man short. Brad Maxwell has 1 minute remaining in his penalty. The Soviets deep in the Canadian zone. Now a chance for Kapustin trying to get the puck back. It comes to Golikov. Shalamov, number 23, the pass comes in front. Now БАБИНОV trying to race up for it. Daryl Sittler checked him. 38 seconds left in Maxwell's penalty. БАБИНOV drops the puck over. The Soviets on the power play here. The pass in front. And just failing to deflect that was Shepeliev. Now it's to the line and kept in there by number 23, Shalamov. Into the corner. The Soviets still have possession. Shalamov setting up. Number 23. There's a shot. And that went over the top of the net. БАБИНOV drops it into the corner. Standing right in front, number 21 is Shepeliev. Here's БАБИНOV's drive. And that missed the net and comes out to center ice. 5 seconds left in the Team Canada penalty. Soviets bring it back in. And the penalty's over. Maxwell back on. БАБИНOV has shot. That was deflected wide. Now Canada has possession. A lead pass. And it's offside as Bob Gainey was over the line.
Mike Gardner tried to hit Bob Gainey with that lead pass behind the Soviet defenseman, but it was offside.
This is the World Hockey Championship on CTV. Back to the action now. Gretzky to Barber and Johnny scores! Bill Barber. And it's 1-0 Canada.
Canada getting a 3-on-2. Gretzky coming down the middle, fed Barber, breaking across the blue line. Barber got a quick shot away on TRETЬЯК, beat him down low. A fine shot by Billy Barber. Here you see the feed by Gretzky off to his left. He pulled a defenseman towards him, and Barber let that slap shot go right through TRETьяк's legs, putting Canada ahead 1-0.
And for Barber, his 6th goal of the World Hockey Championship. Barber from Gretzky, and Rick Green also gets an assist at 9:46.
The Canadian team coming through with a great penalty kill to start it off, and then Billy Barber right here shortly afterwards put Canada ahead 1-0.
Well, Soviets had the pressure there on that power play, and Brad Maxwell was penalized, but Canada comes right back and gets the opening goal. Bill Barber of the Philadelphia Flyers, and Canada's in front 1-0. Kasatonov of the Soviet Union. The Soviets are undefeated so far in the championship. Now the pass comes to Tamenev. Over on the right side, a shot. Greg MILLEN makes a sparkling save on Kozhevnikov. Now Team Canada gets the puck out to center. It's stolen there by Wayne Gretzky. And Gretzky is bumped off the puck by FETISOV. Kasatonov gives it ahead to Golikov. Kasatonov let the puck go. Now Tamenev brings it in, and the Soviets are called on the offside.
Kozhetnikov had that good chance from Numenev. There are two new players. That's Kozhetnikov, 16, Numenev, 28, just getting off the ice. Maltsev got hurt 2 weeks before the tournament, and so he was replaced by these fellows. And actually, right now, I'd have to say they're younger, they're bigger, they're quicker, and it seems to have helped the Soviet team. They look better, as we said, than they had looked even in September.
Now Canada's Craig Hartsburg of the Minnesota North Stars has the puck, number 4. He's forced back by Makarov, number 24, who slips and falls. Now Zino Cicerelli. He cleared it over to number 8 for Team Canada. That's defenseman Paul Reinhardt. Up to Cicerelli. Now it's backhanded into the Soviet zone. Babinov. He's checked against the boards. The puck comes to the line. Hartsburg keeps it in. Hartsburg drops it behind the net to Bobby Smith. Rolls it in front. Now it's back. Here's Hartsburg's shot. That hits the side of the net. Comes to Bobgini. Here's a chance. Oh, and a shot by number 8. Reinhardt goes wide. Cicerelli bumps with Babinov. Bobby Smith trying to get in there. Now the puck is cleared back into the Canadian zone. Bobgini to Bobby Smith. Smith is number 15. He passes. It's intercepted by Makarov. Now the puck comes to the Soviet blue line. Babinov slaps it to center ice. Here come the Soviets. Makarov slips and falls. And it's taken by Craig Hartsburg. That's the second time Makarov has fallen. He must have something wrong with the skates as he glances at them right now. Here's Vasiliev. Vasiliev, a pass up to center ice, and Canada's Ryan Propp lets it go inside his own blue line. Now it's lifted up into the Soviet bench and out of play.
Bernie, talking about Makarov, he got hurt in the German game, and he's got somewhat of a sore shoulder. If one of the Canadian players can lay a good heavy check on him, you might not see him for the rest of the night. As we look at Marshall Johnson, coach of the Colorado Rockies, and this Canadian team.
And the assistant coaches of Team Canada, Red Berenson and Dave King from the University of Saskatchewan, who did that outstanding job with the Canadian juniors at the World Junior Championship. There's a shot. Greg MILLEN makes another big save.
And Greg MILLEN getting a lot of help around the net from Mike Gardner. He came in and took that man out of the play.
Greg MILLEN into the championship with a goals against of 2.66. This is the World Hockey Championship, and there's the big save by Greg MILLEN. Another look at it. 2.66 goals against average. He's playing in his 4th game here in the championships in Finland. MILLEN of the Hartford Whalers of the NHL. 7:47 left to play in the first period. Canada on a goal by Bill Barber from Gretzky and Rick Green. It's 1-0. Now Kevin Lowe, number 12 of Edmonton. On defense now for Canada, gets the puck out to center. It's dropped back, and the Soviets have it. This is Kapustin, number 18. Inside his own line, almost lost it there. Now the lead pass comes ahead to Shepeliev. He's stopped. And the Soviets now are getting bottled up as Canada's right on top of them at every opportunity. Kapustin is taken out of the play. Here's a chance now for Shalamov. He backhands it into the corner. There's a penalty coming up to Kurt Giles as he upsets Kapustin. Delayed penalty. There's a shot. That stops another drive, and MILLEN makes the save. An interference penalty. It'll be to Giles of Canada. This is the World Hockey Championship on CTV. Welcome back to Tampere, Finland, the 47th World Hockey Championship. This is Bernie Pascal, along with Lou Nanne, the general manager of the Minnesota North Stars, and in our Toronto studios, host Dan Matheson and Tom Watt, the coach of the Winnipeg Jets. Canada leads 1-0 on a goal by Bill Barber. But Canada, a man short now. Giles is in the penalty box. The Soviets on the power play, controlling the puck in the Canadian zone. Makarov, number 24, back to Kasatonov. Kasatonov returns it to Makarov, getting set. Makarov sends it through the front of the net. They slap away, and that's stopped by Greg МИЛЛЕН. Makarov has it again. 1:20 left in the penalty. That shot missed by about 6 feet and comes right back into the Soviet zone. Now the pass comes up to the Soviet blue line. Gartner out there killing off the penalty with Bob Gainey. That pass missed Khrushchev, and it goes back to Craig Hartsburg. Hartsburg for Canada off the board, gets it to center ice. 1 minute remaining in the penalty to Canada. Now the pass comes to Larionov, gives it back to Khrushchev. Khrushchev a shot. Greg МИЛЛЕН stops that. Makarov has Gainey lost the stick, and it's cleared off the boards again. Some great penalty killing by Team Canada. Bobby Smith out there with 35 seconds left in the penalty. FETISOV. The pass goes ahead now to Golikov. Back to FETISOV. FETISOV behind the net. Banned on his pass. Now gets it out in front. And he comes and retrieves the puck himself. The pass goes to number 16, Kozhevnikov. He gets it back to the line. Kasatonov. Back to Kozhevnikov. Here's FETISOV getting a shot. That bounces wide. Canada's Brad Maxwell clears it, but not out. Kasatonov keeps it in. Here's a chance now. Golikov, instead of shooting, passed it on the right side. 3 seconds left in the penalty. And Giles steps on the ice. The penalty's over. Here's the pass. They score! The Soviets. A pass. Kozhevnikov standing in front.
Well, Numanev coming out around behind the net, laid a pass out on the short side just as the penalty was over. Here comes Numanev right here. The short side, a quick pass right out front, and a goal was scored, tying the game up. That penalty, by the way, Bernie, not a very good call, a good dive actually by Kapustin. He was being tied up in front of the net. The puck went in the corner, and he just sort of flopped over. And the Canadians suffered for that one.
So Kozhevnikov gets the goal. It's a 1-1 tie, and Wayne Gretzky has the puck. Back to the line, a shot. That's stopped as Kevin Lowe lets the drive go. Number 2 is Giles of Canada. Kurt Giles, a native of La Palm, Manitoba, brings the puck over the line. He skates into the corner. Tried to get it to Barber. He deflected it with his skate, but just wide. Gretzky, number 99 for Team Canada. He's watched by 22, Viktor Zlukov. Now it's cleared into the Soviet zone with 4 minutes and 18 seconds left in period number 1. BILYALEDDINOV brings the puck up with Drozdetsky. Getting set now, a shot that goes wide. The Soviets missing the net on many of their drives. Drozdetsky overskates the puck. It comes now to number 18, Gamayev. He tries to get it in front, and that's stopped. Soviets still have possession. It's a 1-1 tie. Canada's Rick Green had it momentarily. Now he slaps it out to center ice. Vasilev gives it to FETISOV. A pass up on the left side. Zlukov heading for the front of the net, and the puck was knocked away before he could get a shot. Zlukov and Rick Green pin it against the boards. This is the World Hockey Championship on CTV. The final 3.5 minutes in the opening period, a 1-1 tie between Canada and the Soviet Union. Soviets with the puck now in their own zone, bringing it up to center ice. Number 21, Shepeliev passes it over. Kapustin's shot, and it rolls to the net. MILLEN slapped it into the corner. Number 11 for Canada is Mike Gartner. Gartner finds a spot, shoots it into the Soviet zone, and it's not far enough for icing. Vasilia. He's stopped. In for checking is Dale Howardchuk, number 18, and he pins the puck against the board with Vasiliev and BILYALEDDINOV.
One thing we say about the Soviets is that they're great passers, but the biggest thing is that they're great receivers. As we look at the young Dale Howardchuk, the rookie sensation from Winnipeg, going to the bench, no matter where you put the puck around the Soviets, behind them or beside them, they have got great agility both with their feet and stick to receive passes, so they look like better passers than they are.
Now back to the action. The puck cleared up to Krutov off his stick, and Giles has it for Canada. Bill Barber has scored the goal for Canada in this game. Kozhevnikov has scored for the Soviet Union. Larionov, number 11. Now the pass comes to Krutov, up with Makarov. Gets by one defenseman, then lost control of the puck. And Canada has it on the left wing side. Bobby Smith gets it over to Cicerelli. In with Bob Gainey. Makarov knocks Cicerelli to the ice, and he's back down for the Soviets. Makarov, number 24 for the Soviets, is shot over the top of the net. Dino Cicerelli, now he lifts it high into the Soviet zone, and back for it is number 7, Kasatonov, and it's icing against Team Canada.
Both teams not afraid to use the body. The Canadians doing it a little more effectively than the Soviets. The Soviets, as you know, they like to turn and get going into the play right away. They run more interference than we do. The Canadian players taking them out with some real good heavy checks. One thing the Canadians had been doing on the penalty killing, by the way, all the face-offs taken by two centermen, both Clark and Sittler on the face-offs, and it proved very effective, winning draws and being able to get that puck out so that they can change to other penalty killers.
Bobby Clark's out there now for this face-off against the Soviet player Golikov. It goes to number 3 of Canada, Brad Maxwell. Both teams at full strength. The final 2 minutes of the opening period in a 1-1 tie. Rick Green, number 5, brings it out now for Canada. He's forced behind the net, leaves it for Brad Maxwell. Maxwell, he lifts it off a stick down into the Soviet zone. It rolls by Tretyak. Vasiiliev touches it, and again it's icing called against Canada. I guess the key, Lou, is to get possession and try to control the puck from the Soviets.
That's right, Bernie. You don't want to be turning the puck over to the Soviets. Hockey's like any other game. Possession is the most important part of the game, and the one thing they've got to do, maintain control, don't lose their composure, find someone to pass the puck to. They can't, try and make a little move, try and control it until you get someone in the open. But you've got to be moving your wings, especially in centers, to get in the holes so the defenseman can give you that puck.
1 minute and 33 seconds left to play in the opening period. Bobby Clark tried to get it to Mark Napier. Daryl Sittler slaps it out to center. Babinoff breaks that up. Sittler has the puck, trying to set up Clark. Now Craig Hartsburg. A pass to Bobby Clark. Clark is stopped by Vasiiliev, digging after the puck. Hartsburg keeps it in for Canada. Babinoff, number 4 for the Soviets. 1-1 tie. The pass comes to Kozhevnikov. He passes right to the Canadian player, Mark Napier. As we approach now, 1 minute left to play in the first period. Babinoff comes out of his own zone for the Soviets. Cleared the puck in, goes behind the net. Reinhardt, number 8 for Canada. He tried to get the pass ahead to Rick 5. He stopped. The Soviets have it again. Trying to get a shot there was number 16, Kozhevnikov. Here's Babinoff's drive, and that misses the net as it was deflected. Reinhardt with Rick 5 digging for the puck, and 5 steps into the Soviet player and knocked him heavily to the ice. Now they hold it against the boards and get a whistle.
It's a good thing they did. Craig Hartsburg had broken his stick. He didn't have a stick, and they were trying to make sure to either get a whistle or get the puck out of the zone, because the Soviets, standing in there with 5 men, get control. They throw it around pretty effectively when you've got a man without a stick. One reason, Bernie, as you were saying, you don't want to turn the puck over either. This rink, you can't just be dumping it in. The rink being so wide, it takes too long to get to them. By the time you get to them, the puck's going down the other way. So you've got to maintain control. Don't give them the offense.
There's a shot right from the draw. Drozdetsky has Lukhtov won the faceoff from Gretzky. Now they go after the puck at center. It's taken there by Pervukin. 15 seconds left to play in the opening period. Canada coming back. Rick 5 to Barber, a shot off the stick of Bilyaletinov. Pervukin is knocked to the ice. Here's a chance. 5, a shot. That goes wide with 4 seconds left. A great opportunity for Rick 5. And that'll do it. The first period comes to an end as Canada gets a shot right on goal on Tretyak. And you talk about an action-packed 20 minutes, Lou.
It certainly was. And right at the end, Gretzky made a great feat to Vive, but he just missed his shot. It's unfortunate, but a good period of hockey.
This is the World Hockey Championship on CTV.
You often wonder what's going to happen. The one position that the Soviets really haven't shown any depth has been at goal, Bernie. And Michigan has played some, but really he hasn't had a great deal of experience in international hockey. And when you look at it, you wonder why they actually haven't developed more goaltenders. One of the reasons is they start cutting kids out at 14. They take a position and they stick with them right there. And maybe some kids might develop later and they never get the opportunity in the kind of system that they're operating under.
So we get set now to start the second period. Both teams at full strength. And the puck is cleared into the Canadian zone. Paul Reinhardt. Makarov checks him. Hartsburg, number 4 for Canada, gives it to Mark Napier, number 31. He loses it to Fetisov. His shot went wide. Bobby Clark had trouble with it. Here's a chance for Khrushchev, a drive. And that rolls just wide of the open side. A drive by Makarov. Here's Khrushchev getting set now. Khrushchev, and he's checked, and the puck is hooked away by Hartsburg. Hartsburg, number 4, straight up the middle now for Canada with Mark Napier. The pass to Darryl Sittler and Clark, and it's called offside at the Soviet line.
It was a good play, and Sittler was just cranking up for a shot. As we look at Khrushchev, he got flashed. I thought he died on the ice. Then made an effort to get Hartsburg. He didn't get him, and now he's in some pain on the bench. Khrushchev, a very dangerous man, can shoot that puck extremely well on the fly. Seems like he's got a sore wrist or a sore arm somewhere.
21-year-old youngster with the Soviet team, Vladimir Khrushchev, being attended to at the Soviet bench. Rick 5 passed the puck. It's intercepted. Here's Kapustin of the Soviets. He's spun around as Babinov covers up. Babinov, number 4. Tried to hit that pass to Kapustin. It got away from him. And Greg MILLEN comes out of the net, gives it to Rick 5. 5 is stopped there by Shepeliev. Shepeliev up with the puck. There's a scoring shot. And that's stopped by Greg MILLEN as Shalamov let it go. And there's a holding penalty coming up to Canada.
Kurt Giles going off for holding on the near side. Д.Олссон thought that he pulled the man down, and the Soviets going to get their third opportunity on the power play.
This is the World Hockey Championship on CTV. Back to the action. The Soviets on the power play. Shepeliev. Here's Kapustin. A shot. That goes wide. Giles in the penalty box for Canada. Babinov drops it back to Kapustin. Looks over at Vasiliev. Now he gives it to Babinov. Babinov returns it to Kapustin. Kapustin trying to set it up to Shepeliev. Green got a piece of that. There'll be a penalty to Shepeliev for interference.
And he did definitely interfere in that play with Kevin Lowe going around the net to get that free puck. He'd had a shot to get the puck out of the zone. Shepeliev pulled him down. Interference. Now teams will play it four-side. First penalty on the Soviets. There's Kevin Lowe as he was going after that loose puck. Shepeliev pulls him right down. Д.Олссон from Sweden on the spot, making the call.
Giles has 1:34 remaining in his penalty. Now Shepeliev off for interference. The Soviets played their first ever international game here in Tampere. That was back in 1954. And that game, they defeated Finland 8-1. And you'll recall a couple of months later, they went on to win the World Hockey Championship in '54 when they defeated Canada, the Lyndhurst team 7-2. And they lead this championship undefeated with 6 straight victories. This game is tied 1-1. Here's ПЕРВУХИN, a shot off the glove of MILLEN. Into the corner, Reinhardt tries to dig it loose. Golikov checks him. He clears it around to the other side. Now it comes out to Mike Gartner. Gartner up on the left side for Canada. Shot and a sizzling drive missed the net. Gartner of the Washington Capitals, number 11, let a bullet-like drive go.
He certainly did, but the big play was made by Brian Propp in Canada's zone. He ran interference just perfectly on the Russian defenseman because he couldn't get to the puck. That allowed Gartner to take that puck, go down the wing as we look at Paul Reinhardt, who was trailing on that play, and Gartner with a bullet drive over the net and over the glass.
We have an update from Helsinki. Sweden leads Finland 2-1. Sweden 2, Finland 1. They're in the second period. Finland needs a victory in that game to move into the championship round. Here it's a 1-1 tie. In the second period, Giles has 35 seconds remaining in his penalty. Valiyev has 1 minute left in his. Now the puck into the Canadian zone. FETISOV called on an offside play.
One thing the linesmen do here, Bernie, they wait an awful long time on the delayed offsides before they blow the whistle. It seems like there's always 3 or 4 seconds before they blow it. Oftentimes you wonder if they're going to blow it at all, so you've got to keep playing and make sure that you get that whistle.
Now it comes to FETISOV for the Soviets. Number 2 trying to hit Gamayev with that pass on the right side. That failed. At number 7 is Alexei КАСАТОНОВ. КАСАТОНОV. Now it's dropped back to FETISOV. Out there with Zhlukov and Gamayev. Gamayev reaches for the pass off his stick, and Brad Maxwell has it for Canada. Maxwell up with Sittler. Napier heads to the bench, replaced by Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky into the corner. He was checked by Zhlukov. FETISOV has it. Canada at full strength. Giles is on the ice, so the Team Canada has a power play now with 18 seconds remaining in the Soviet penalty. A 1-1 tie. Here's Gretzky now on the power play. Coming up with Barber, shoots the puck into the Soviet zone. FETISOV in quickly after it. FETISOV holding it against the boards. 5 checks him. Barber trying to get it loose. Now it's cleared to the line and off the boards, down the ice. As the Soviets are back at full strength. Number 5 for Canada, Rick Green, former junior with London. Out there on defense now, the pass comes to Bill Barber to Gretzky. Gretzky's over the line in front to Barber, and it rolls right to TRETYAK. КАСАТОНОВ clears it off the board. Up there by Rick Green. Green trying to get the puck over to Gretzky, but he's pinned there by Krutov.
Well, just a bouncing puck eluded the Canadians on a good opportunity. As we look at Rick Green, Green playing a very solid game thus far, handling the puck extremely well, moving it out with real good precision and getting Canadians on the attack. There's the Soviet coach, Urinev, and main coach is Tikhonov.
Former defenseman, Viktor Tikhonov, and he's really an innovative coach. He's introduced a lot of innovations to the Soviet hockey program. We played 4 minutes and 15 seconds here in the second period. It's a 1-1 tie, and it's icing called against the Soviets.
Bernie, that's one of the rare icings you'll see the Russians commit, but as we were talking earlier at the end of the period, they never had an offside in the first period. In the 2 previous games that I watched, they never went offside until the 3rd period of the second game. That was the only offside in 2 games. Great discipline.
32-year-old Vasiliev, the captain of the Soviet team, and right, Lou, a great disciplined team, the Soviet Union. Now the puck fired off the boards, and it comes back into the Team Canada zone. Greg MILLEN out of the net, leaves it there. It's backhanded by Kevin Lowe. Gartner with Brian Propp. And number 18 for Canada, Dale Hawerchuk. Puck is cleared into the Soviet zone. Here's Krutov trying to get that lead pass up on the right. And that's too far. That was a dangerous pass to MAKAROV. Just too far out of reach. Oh, it's back into the Team Canada zone. Number 12 is Kevin Lowe. He clears it off the boards, rolls into the Soviet zone, Vasiliev. He's forced back by Dale Hawerchuk. Hawerchuk stole the puck, but Vasiliev had a hold of his stick, and he couldn't get free to get control. Now BABINOV circling in his own zone. The Soviets on the attack, trying to get that pass to MAKAROV. MAKAROV in the corner, sidestep, Paul Reinhardt. Now Sittler got it outside the line. Mark Napier, the pass was behind him. Krutov shoots it in. 14.5 minutes left in period number 2. Paul Reinhardt trying to get that pass to Sittler. It's intercepted by PERVUCHIN, number 5. Now Canada has it again. Hartsburg in front to Sittler's shot. And that just went wide. As Sittler, set up by Craig Hartsburg, missed an opportunity there. Canada still has it. Behind the net, Bobby Clark. Watch by Vasiliev. Clark backhands it. Sittler goes after the puck. And it's taken there by PERVUCHIN. Clark keeps it in for Canada. Pass in front. Now the Soviets break out of their own zone. The pass comes to Shalamov. Trying to get it back to Shapeliev. He's knocked against the boards. Hartsburg chases after the puck. He's checked by Viktor Shalamov. Bobby Smith. He gets it ahead now. Here's a chance. Reinhardt shoots it in and heads to the bench on a line change. Gretzky comes out with 5 and Barber. Green and Maxwell on defense. Gretzky for Canada. The pass ahead to Bill Barber. Barber backhands it over to Rick Five. Five a shot, and that's off the net. Gretzky, number 99 for Canada, keeps it in at the line, gives it to Five. Five's drive, Barber in front, and he couldn't control the bouncing puck. The Soviets have it again. BILYALEDDINOV. The pass comes on the right side. Now it's dropped back in, stolen by Rick Five. Five passed it right onto the stick of Shalamov. And the Soviet player Shalamov in with Shapeliev. Watched by Rick Green. And he's checked by Green, and Barber has the puck for Canada. A quick pace in this hockey game. No question about that. It's called on an offside at the Team Canada line. This is the World Hockey Championship on CTV. Welcome back to Tampere, Finland. This is Bernie Pascal along with Lou Nanne, the general manager of the Minnesota North Stars. Color commentary with us on this CTV telecast, and back in the studio of Dan Matheson and Tom Watt, the coach of the Winnipeg Jets, and Millen holding the puck there, the face-off in the Team Canada zone. Most of the fans here are cheering for Team Canada, and you can hear them. They're a noisy crowd here at Tampere. FETISOV tried to get the pass in front. It's brought out by Giles. Giles ahead to Bob Gainey, coming in with Cicerelli. Gainey spins around, shoots the puck into the Soviet corner. Bobby Smith backhands it, trying to get it to Cicerelli, and that's intercepted. Tumanev, number 28. He's knocked off the puck, then Gainey is upset, and the Soviets come up with possession. And they break out on the left side. Tumanev coming in, number 28, cleared it in front. That's intercepted by Bobby Smith. Here comes Smith of Canada. Smith over the line, coming in with Gainey. Gainey has the puck, trying to get it back. He's checked, and it's cleared up to center ice by the Soviets again. In over the line now. Here's a chance. Kozhevnikov is checked, dumps it back, and Smith intercepts for Canada. Kozhevnikov, number 16, has scored the goal for the Soviets. Barber has scored for Team Canada. Cicerelli's knocked down just as he crossed the Soviet blue line. Smith backhands the puck in, and it's called on a delayed offside as Team Canada was looking for a line change.
Bernie, occasionally you'll see some of the shots, especially number Rick Five coming in on the angle, missing the net. When you're playing on the different ice surface like this, the angles are different. The way you play the boards are different. It takes time to get acclimated to it, and oftentimes fellas will be missing a net where normally in the National League they'd have some pretty accurate shots on the corner.
11 minutes and 10 seconds left in period number 2. It's a 1-1 tie, Canada and the Soviet Union. This game live on the full CTV network across Canada. And we hope you're enjoying the telecast on this Saturday morning. Here's Gartner, a shot. And that's off the stick of TRETьяк. Behind the net. Gartner getting set. Tried to get it back to Brian Frost. Now Gartner getting ready to shoot, and he was checked, and Gamayev has it for the Soviets. That lead pass up on the right. It's dropped back. Here's a chance now for Zluktov. He's hauled to the side, and it's brought out. Howardchuk up with Propp and Gartner. Howardchuk over the line, then he's checked. Here's a break now for the Soviets. Nobody there. Gamayev coming in, getting set. Oh, and he couldn't get a shot. There's the shot. They score! The puck just rolled in front. And Gamayev was standing there. And the Soviets go in front 2-1.
Well, the Soviets turned misplay, actually a forecheck at their blue line into a breakaway right here. And you see the opportunity Drozdetsky had. He tried to get it into the net. He did, but Gamayev trailing on the play. Saw the puck bouncing across. Drozdetsky going across the front. Millen plays it perfectly, but the puck just laid right across in the crease by Drozdetsky, put in by Gamayev.
So Gamayev gets the go-ahead goal for the Soviets. 10 minutes and 20 seconds, the time here in period number 2. Well, we'll see what effect that goal has on Team Canada. Both teams at full strength. And the Soviets have possession again. The puck cleared over to the left side, and П.Памоэл just fires it into the Team Canada zone. Kevin Lowe. Now he leads a Team Canada attack. Lowe coming up to center. Was Checked momentarily by Larionov and shoots it in, and Canada again called on an offside.
On that goal, Bernie, going down the ice, Howardchuk looked like he made a real good move with the blue line. He had everybody backed off, and he was just going to give the puck to Gardner, and it was poke checked by a Russian defenseman, knocked all the way down, and Dredzetsky, who had been knocked down, was all alone, just coming out of the Canadian zone, so he had the breakaway.
So Canada now has Wayne Gretzky out there. Gretzky with 5 and Barber. 5, number 22. And he's being checked there by Kapustin, number 8 of the Soviets. Maxwell shoots it in for Canada. Kazatonov. Now it comes out to number 21, Shepeliev. He cleared it into the Team Canada zone. And Maxwell back for it. He's knocked against the boards by Kapustin. Almost stolen there by number 23, Shalamov. It's cleared in front. And Barber knocks the Soviet player to the ice, Shalamov. In behind the Team Canada net, Shepeliev. He's hauled down. And Maxwell has it for Canada. He's checked. Puck is still loose. Shepeliev. There'll be a penalty coming up to Maxwell of Canada as he took a stick to the Soviet player. It'll be a high sticking infraction. This is the World Hockey Championship on CTV.
A little retaliation, and when you retaliate, many times you get caught. He had just gotten hit over the head as we were just watching a replay here by the Russian, and he turned around and gave it right back, and the referee was on the spot, saw the retaliation, and called it.
9:13 the time of the penalty. Brad Maxwell off for Canada. Now the puck comes back. Getting set now. The Soviets on the power play. A shot. That's stopped by Millen as Makarov let it go. 9 minutes left to play here in the second period. The Soviets leading Canada by a score of 2-1. Pass comes up on the left. Here's Makarov, number 24, drops it back. Kazatonov keeps it in. Kazatonov sends it over to Fetisov. His shot, that's blocked by Gainey. Fetisov has it again. Trying to set up here on the power play. Sends it over. Kazatonov a drive, and Millen makes the save.
The Canadian team doing a very good job of keeping people away from the net and not getting in any position for a pass, so the Soviets now have started to shoot from the point. Both Fetisov and Kazatonov taking shots as Marshall Johnson surveying his bench, telling who he wants out there next. But the Soviets shooting more often than they usually do on the power play, now hoping to get a tip from someone in front of the net as they are not being able to just move that puck close to the net. The Canadian team has cut that off pretty well in the power plays up to now.
So we're ready now to face off in the Team Canada zone. Number 9 out there for the Soviets, Krutov, with Makarov and Larionov, number 11. It's dropped back to Kazatonov. He returns the pass. Here's a chance now. A clearing pass in front. Larionov just failed to get it. Gainey runs into the Soviet player, Fetisov. Kazatonov with 1 minute remaining in the Team Canada penalty. There's a shot, and that's deflected wide. Cleared off the boards and down the ice. Over the glass as it took a weird hop and out of play.
Certainly did. It just hit the ledge. As you saw, the Soviets having that chance there. That's their pet play that we were talking about earlier. Pass across with Larionov. Brad Maxwell serving out the remainder of his penalty. There was the best opportunity for them to score in this power play. Usually they love to move that puck in close to the net across the goal mouth for a quick tip. But up until that time, they hadn't been able to even try that.
Number 21 is Shepeliev out there now for the Soviets. He's with Shalamov and Kapustin on this power play. 41 seconds left in the Team Canada penalty. Kapustin checked by Bob Gainey. Moving in there to help out is Kevin Lowe. The puck is cleared around. This is Shalamov. Drops it back to the line. Gets the return pass. Vasilev gives it to Babinov. His shot deflected off the stick of Shepeliev and goes wide. 21 seconds left in the Canada penalty. In the corner now, this is Shepeliev. He's checked by Lowe. Soviets setting up here on a power play. Sittler out there to kill it off with Bob Gainey. In behind the net now. Shepeliev is in front looking for a pass. He's being covered by Giles. The puck over to Babinov, a drive, and that's stopped by goaltender Millen. The penalty is over. Maxwell trying to get back into the play. That shot off the stick of Greg Millen. Now Babinov gets it over to Kapustin. He's checked by Sittler. The puck. Giles trying to get it out and hit Kapustin, and Bob Gainey finds a spot, shoots it down the ice. and it'll be icing as Vasiliev touches it. This is the World Hockey Championship on CTV. 6 minutes and 30 seconds left to play in the second period. We're live from Tamperre, Finland, and the Soviet Union leading Team Canada 2-1. Here's a chance now for Tumenev. Tumenev gets the puck over to number 16, Kozhevnikov. He's checked. Puck is still in the Team Canada zone. A drive by Pervukhin and off the stick of Millen, and that's deflected high into the crowd.
And a real heavy check by Rick Five on Tumenev in the corner. It's funny how anytime you just touch them, and they are great actors also. Right there as Five was skating by Kazanenkov. He just touched him, and he bent right over as if he had been speared, trying to draw a penalty. But you've got to give the Soviets credit for their durability. They look like they've really been hurt, and they're back out there the next shift.
Zlukov, number 22, will take the draw against Bobby Smith in the Team Canada zone. And the puck right from the draw goes down the ice into the Soviet zone. Backboard is Fetisov, number 2. For World Junior All-Star at the World Championships in '79. Fetisov on defense. Puck is cleared up to the Team Canada zone offside, and that's one of the infrequent offsides against the Soviets.
Well, that was from behind their own blue line. They try those long passes quite often. That time, they didn't get enough on the pass, and the face-off back in their own zone. They had just gambled on a pass coming out there. Burning Bobby Smith almost picked it off just before they made that offside pass. They just like to fire it out of the zone as quickly as they can.
The Soviet goal scorers, Kozhevnikov and Gamayev. Bill Barber has scored for Canada. 2-1 with 6 minutes left to play in the second period. Mark Napier's shot. Tretiak stops that. Bobby Smith into the corner with Fetisov. Fetisov falls. Kept in, though, by Napier in front. And Tretiak just scooped that puck away as Smith was going after it. Fetisov gives it to Gamayev. Gamayev, a pass up the middle to Zlukov. He tried to hit a pass on that right side, but back to get it for Canada is Rick Green. Green, number 5. Drozdetsky checked him. Here's Gamayev. Gives it to Zlukov. Zlukov is stopped by Paul Reinhardt. Now Smith ahead to Mark Napier. Napier lifts the puck high into the Soviet zone. Tretiak bats it into the corner. 5:05 left in the second period. Reinhardt and Makarov after the puck. Maryanov tried to get to it. Here's Wayne Gretzky back for Canada. Gretzky moving in. The Canadian players knocked down in front. Here's a chance now for Canada. 5 trying to get it. Barber is checked against the board. 5, and it's intercepted by КАСАТОНОВ. A pass up the middle. Here's Krutov coming in now for the Soviets. Along with Makarov, the puck goes into the corner. Gretzky cleared it, and Rick 5 has it for Canada. Back to Gretzky, coming in with Barber. Gretzky in the corner. Vasiliev checked him. Gretzky overskates the puck, and the Soviets swing out. Here's Makarov in on a breakaway. Makarov right in. He scores! Makarov.
Well, Makarov picking up that pass goes down actually with a 2-0 breakaway. He came down, made a move to his backhand, and put it upstairs. Makarov just trailing back on the play, comes down a 2-0, makes a move to his forehand and goes to his backhand and puts it up and over Millen to put them ahead. Millen's actually got a piece of it with his goal stick, but not enough to keep it out of the net. Here's the move by Makarov again. Backhander upstairs, putting the Soviets ahead 3-1.
So with 4 minutes and 12 seconds left in the second period, Makarov increases the margin to 2 goals, favoring the Soviets. And they're called for icing with the face-off back into their zone. The cheer here is the out-of-town score from Helsinki. It's a 2-2 tie between Finland and Sweden. And they've played 38 minutes of that game in Helsinki. Finland needs a victory over Sweden today to advance to the championship round. Lowe keeps the puck in for Canada. Gartner stepped into Pervukhin. The puck is cleared out to center. Number 23, Viktor Shalamov, trying to get it over to Kapustin. And the Team Canada player goes into the corner after it. That's Giles. Giles, number 2, let it go to Lowe. Lowe is bumped by Kapustin. Howard check to Brian Propp. Off the boards, then it goes into the Soviet zone. Number 5 is Pervukin. Pervukin trying to get a lead pass. That went astray. And Lowe, number 12, behind his own net for Canada. Up on the left side to Propp. Now Canada trailing by 2 goals. A long shot by Propp is cleared into the corner by TRETYAK. Gartner, number 11, went after the puck, but it's cleared up on the right side. After it there is Shalamov. He couldn't catch up to it. Hartsburg was there to intercept. Hartsburg passed it right to the Soviet player, Tumanev. He cleared it in front. Hartsburg got it for Canada and gives it to Gartner. Gartner to Propp, coming in with Howardchuk, and he fires it in and heads to the bench on the line change. 3 minutes remaining in the second period. Now the Soviets come out of their own zone. Up over the Canadian line. Golikov is shot. Millen stopped that. Hartsburg, he's spun and knocked to the ice. There'll be a penalty to the Soviets. A delayed call as Canada has possession. And Millen heads to the bench. Extra player, and that's Gretzky. Here comes Bobby Clark. Clark handed it right to the Soviet player, Tumanev, and the penalty coming up now to the Soviets for hooking.
Golikov's going off for tripping.
Is the World Hockey Championship on season on a power play opportunity now. Gretzky's out there with Rick Five, Barber, Giles, and Kevin Lowe. Puck comes to the Soviet player, FETISOV, drops it to Kasatonov, and he fires it off the boards into the Canadian zone. Lowe, he's checked. Giles, number 2. He brings it out of his own zone now for Canada. Pass to Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky up the middle to Barber. Coming in with 5. He bumps with 5 right at the blue line. And Canada offside at the Soviet blue line.
Well, Barber and Vive playing the off wings on the power play, trying to crisscross on position, running into each other at the blue line. Oft times you'll see, as a matter of fact, most European teams and now many NHL teams, when they go on the power play, they switch wings, so they got a better shooting advantage. And that's exactly what the Canadian team's doing right now.
Now back to the action. The puck cleared into the Team Canada zone. Reinhardt's out there on defense now, and his defense partner is Craig Hartsburg. Hartsburg gives it to Reinhardt. Reinhardt to the Soviet line. He's stopped, and the puck is cleared back into the Canadian zone. Here's Gretzky, number 99. Canada on a power play with 1:52 left to play in the second period. Gretzky over the line, getting set, trying to dump it in front. The puck is loose. Gretzky goes after it for Canada. Here's Gretzky at the side, hauled down. There'll be a penalty to Kasatonov. Another penalty to the Soviets. Gretzky behind the net, he's checked. And FETISOV touches it, and a tripping penalty to Kasatonov of the Soviets.
Well, this will be a good opportunity for the Canadian team to cut that lead that the Russians have 3-1 as Kasatonov definitely tripping Gretzky behind the net. Gretzky making his move forward, his favorite position behind the net, right there getting tripped. Billy Barber is standing on the short side, and Gretzky, once he gains that net, we all know how dangerous he could be. Kasatonov pulled him down, and now he'll be sitting out 2 minutes unless the Canadian team can get 2 quick goals here. They've already in there for tripping, now Kasatonov for tripping. The Canadians 5, Russians leading 3-1.
Hello, we're talking there to Alan Eagleson, who's celebrating a birthday today. Another member of the Team Canada party, Ryan Walter, had a birthday yesterday. He was 24. He's out of the tournament, of course, with that shoulder injury, and he's really upset. He was playing so well. It was an unfortunate accident to Ryan Walter.
He really was playing well, and he got hit with a body check in the West German game. At first, he didn't think it was that serious, and I just spoke to him before the game. He says it's hurting more now than he did when he got hurt.
He asked us to say hi to all his folks back in British Columbia, Ryan Walter. Now here's a chance for Reinhardt. Canada, 2-man advantage. Gretzky behind the net to Reinhardt. His shot off the stick. Gretzky has it again. And it's gloved ahead and whistled down by referee Д.Олссон. 42 seconds remaining in one Soviet penalty to Tumanev. Well, there you see it, 42 and 1:45. The time remaining in the penalties, 1:45 and 42 seconds.
Soviet defenseman like that man right there, Pervukin, very agile, and whenever they're killing the penalty, they never seem to allow that puck to get to the net. They block a lot of shots. He had just blocked one right there from Reinhardt. That's one thing the Italian team did against the Canadian team. They just stacked 4 men in front of the net and weren't letting any shots get through. The Soviet defenseman blocked a great amount of shots for Tretyak.
Slugtov wins the draw, clears the puck back into the Team Canada zone. Soviets leading Canada 3-1. Canada has a 2-man advantage right now. Hartsburg comes to the Soviet line. Good move. Here's Hartsburg coming in, getting set. A shot. Tretyak stopped that, and what a spectacular move by Craig Hartsburg. Now Reinhardt getting set. He gives it to Hartsburg. Hartsburg passes it over to Gretzky. 1 minute left to play in the period. Gretzky fakes the shot. Now getting set. Clears it into the corner. Back to Gretzky. Gretzky drives, and that's stopped by Tretyak. Hartsburg, his shot, that's knocked down. 1 second remaining in one of the Soviet penalties, and Gamayev is back on. Vyacheslav checks 5. Barber trying to get to the puck. The Soviets could have a break here. Tumanev, he's coming in with Slugtov, a shot, and that goes wide. 45 seconds remaining in the Soviet penalty. Here's Barber up over the line for Canada. Into the corner to Gretzky. Gretzky getting set. Watch now. Gretzky fakes the shot, dropped it in front. Reinhardt going in deep after it. And we have 3 seconds left in the period. Reinhardt has it for Canada. And the horn goes to end the second period of play. And an action-packed 20 minutes again. The Soviet ＫАСАТОНОВ has 29 seconds remaining in his penalty. So Canada will start the third on a power play, but they're trailing by 2. This is the World Hockey Championship on CTV.
Hartsburg had 1 and Gretzky had 1. We've had the man advantage. We still have the man advantage for, I think, about a half a minute coming into the third period. I think we need an early goal. We have to stay away from penalties and play the disciplined style hockey that we have to play when we're in Europe. If we start getting frustrated, when we don't take advantage of our opportunities, then we're going to have some problems.
The Soviets put so much pressure on the defense. Twice the defensemen were nowhere to be seen as the Soviets brought the puck up the ice.
Well, actually, on both of them, one of the defensemen was roaring down trying to get into the play offensively, but he wasn't able to do it, and of course they turned it over quickly.
Well, can Canada come back? We will find out now. Here is Bernie Pascal.
The Soviets leading Team Canada 3-1. This is Bernie Pascal along with Lunani here in Tampere, Finland. And КАСАТОНОВ has 29 seconds remaining in his penalty. So Canada has the power play opportunity. Gretzky's out there with 5, and Barber. Hartsburg on defense. He has the puck. Passes over to Barber. Barber's shot off the glove of Tretyak. Comes back to Hartsburg. His shot, and that's deflected wide. 5 trying to get possession. Now the puck is cleared down the ice into the Team Canada zone. Reinhardt leading a rush now for Canada. He's checked at center ice. Bob Gainey has it. Gainey for Team Canada. Coming on the left side, clears it in. And the Soviet penalty to КАСАТОНОВ has expired. Reinhardt kicks the puck into the corner, but the Soviets come up with it. They lead 3-1. At center, heading for the net, Tumanev, and the pass just failed to get to him. Bob Gainey knocks Tumanev to the ice. Hartsburg, a pass to Wayne Gretzky. Here's Gretzky up to the Soviet line, cleared it in, but he put himself offside at the blue line.
Well, the Canadian team had an opportunity with a 5-against-3, but they weren't able to get enough shots on net. One good one by Wayne Gretzky, just going off the ice there at the end of the second period, and one there by Bob Gainey were the only real 2 good shots that they had. The Soviets did a good job of letting Tretyak see the puck. They really weren't giving the Canadians much to shoot at. Every opportunity they got, they were able to really force them into making a quick play or play they didn't want to make, and they consequently were able to cut down on those shots on Tretyak.
Beautiful spring-like day today here in Tampere, Finland, although there's still some snow on the ground in some areas of the city. Mild temperature with sunny skies. Finland, the most northerly republic in the world. Much of the country here above the Arctic Circle. In fact, the sunset is very late, almost 10 o'clock at night. Now the puck cleared into the Team Canada zone, number 12. That's Kevin Lowe. In his own zone, both teams at full strength. And we've played a minute and 15 seconds here in the third period. There's a shot. That's deflected off a stick. FETISOV keeps it in for the Soviets. Takes a weird bounce off the boards. Kurt Giles, a pass up the middle now. Here's a chance for Bobby Clark. Up with Sittler, but Makarov has it. Makarov, he drops it into the corner to Kasatonov of the Soviets. Hits FETISOV. He retrieves the puck. Clears it on the left side. Napier moves in. Sittler couldn't control the bouncing puck. Larionov, he tries to get it in front, and it bounces over, and here comes Mark Napier. Napier of the Montreal Canadiens swings away from Krutov. He shoots it in right on. TRETYAK stopped that, the bouncing puck, and it's taken by FETISOV. Now he'll try the other side. Krutov slaps it down the boards into the Team Canada zone, and as Green touches it, it's icing against the Soviets.
And Krutov taken in very heavily again by by Mike Gardner. Has been taken in 3 times, twice by Vive, once by Gardner, and now Gardner just tripped him. Going to get a tripping call as Krutov was going to the bench. Krutov was having a pretty rough night along the boards, and that's why when he saw the puck coming and he saw Gardner coming, he just slapped it on the ice to get an icing call. Gardner getting upset with Krutov as they were having words going off the ice, tripped him. Now Canada's going to be a man short.
Well, a rather foolish move by Mike Gardner with Krutov going to the bench. Marshall Johnson, well, I think that look tells it all.
Not a good penalty to take, and you don't want to be taking penalties when you're down 3-1, and you know every opportunity the Soviets got to put you in an outman situation. They're going to probably get a couple good opportunities to score themselves. Canada needing everybody they can get on the ice and to be at full strength as much as possible in order to get another goal, put them right back in this hockey game.
Time of the penalty, 2 minutes, 11 seconds. Gardner for tripping. Greg MILLEN in goal for Canada has played well in this game, his 4th game of the championship. Former junior with Peterborough and Sault Ste. Marie. Now a member of the Hartford Whalers. So we'll see what the Soviets do on this power play opportunity. Babinov, number 4. Now he clears the puck ahead. It's brought out by number 8. That's Sergei Kapustin. Kapustin sends it over to Babinov. Sidesteps one Team Canada player. And it's shot ahead to Craig Hartsburg. He's checked by Vasilia. Hartsburg slips and falls, but the puck is in the Soviet zone. Babinov with 1.5 minutes remaining in the penalty to Gardner. Intercepted by Bob Gainey. He slaps it off the boards deep into his own zone. Reinhardt for Canada finds a spot, and he shoots it into the Soviet territory. Canada changing on the go here as Vasiliev brings it out. Vasiliev, a pass on the right side. Number 23, Shalamov. He's tried to get it in front, and Brian Propp is back to get it for Canada, but he can't get it outside the line. Now Paul Reinhardt will try. He cleared it out to center ice. 55 seconds left in the Team Canada penalty. The Soviets lead 3-1. Now the pass comes on the right side off the skates of Viktor Shalamov, and Brian Propp gives it to Darryl Sittler. Sittler backhands the puck down the ice as Canada successfully killing off this penalty with 35 seconds remaining in the penalty to Gardner. Kasatonov, number 7, up now for the Soviets. Got away from Bobby Clark. Lukhtov was checked. And now the Soviet player, Kasatonov, drops it back to his own blue line, and swinging out is Drozdetsky. Drozdetsky fakes the shot, still has the puck, gives it to Kasatonov. Back to Drozdetsky. His shot off the arm of goaltender Millen. The Soviets after it, Gabayev, but Giles gets there for Canada. Giles slips and falls. It comes back to Bilyaletdinov. He's checked, and the puck comes out to center ice. And the Team Canada penalty. Gardner steps on the ice. There's a chance. Lukhtov backhands it in. Kasatonov keeps it in for the Soviets. Bobby Clark tried to get it, and Canada coming out now. This is Giles. Ahead to Gardner. Gardner's upset, and there will be a penalty to the Soviet player, Gabayev, for tripping.
Well, Canada getting the opportunity to go in a power play now as Gardner receiving a pass from Kurt Giles, was just starting to accelerate around the outside of the defenseman, but Gabayev pulled him down before he could. You see Gardner right there starting to head for the outside to open ice, and he had Kasatonov flat-footed.
This is the World Hockey Championship on CTV. So a penalty to Gabayev for tripping at 4:29.
And we're going to get a stick measurement here, Bernie. They're going to try it right now.
Well, we've been waiting for that, Lou, all day. And the stick measurement coming up. And this is interesting because they do not have the proper device for stick measurement here. The NHL referee, Terry Gregson, telling us before the game. Now look at this. They put the puck down and they try to get a coin underneath it.
They got it.
And they got it.
The 5 against 3, a good time to make that call. That stick, Kozienkoff was outside the locker room before the game, and I know Dino Cicerelli walked up and he says, take a look at that stick. And he said, that one's a big hook because we're going to be looking for a call. And he had called over Max McNabb and says, Max, you look at that one right there. So they were waiting to get him on the ice, and they got him, and now it'll be a 5 against 3.
So fortunately, the conference paid off before the game, checking with the NHL referee, Terry Gregson. And here at the World Championships in Europe, the curvature allowed is 1.5. In the NHL, it's 1.2 centimeters. So Kozhevnikov is caught with an illegal stick. Now get this, the measuring advice was a Finnish coin. Now prior to the championship, they told all the officials that the measuring coin would be a 10 penny, which is a little larger than our Canadian penny. Well, today, they changed it to a 1 penny. It's amazing how they could change rules.
And the Russians were rapidly running up and down the bench there. Seglin, who was like the trainer, looking at all the sticks and seeing if they have to go and change any more.
So Canada with a 2-man advantage, trailing 3-1. 5 has the puck. Now it's slapped off his stick. It comes to Gretzky. Gretzky over to Rick 5. Canada trailing 3-1 as the pass comes to Hartsburg. Hartsburg setting up. The Soviets 2-man short. Here's Hartsburg getting ready. A shot. Loose puck in front. They fire away. And it's stopped by Tretyak and cleared out by Golikov. And it comes right to Greg Millen. He gets it ahead to Paul Reinhardt. Reinhardt coming in for Team Canada with Gretzky. And the puck is cleared off the boards away from Gretzky by Shalamov. 1:12 left in the 2 minor penalties to the Soviets. The Soviets 3, Canada 1. Here's Gretzky now, up to the Soviet line. Gretzky moving in on the left side. Fakes a shot, gets it back to Hartsburg. Over to Reinhardt, right on, stopped by Tretyak. The rebound by 5, and that's stopped and cleared down the ice. 49 seconds left in the 2 penalties to the Soviets. Hartsburg, he cleared it in. This will be icing against Canada as going back to touch it. The Soviet player gets to it. FETISOV, and it's icing against Canada with a 2-man advantage. That here is a score from Helsinki, Finland and Sweden, a 3-3 tie, and they have about 10 minutes left in that game.
Well, coming down the ice, Craig Hartsburg right there saw Mike Gardner just coming off the bench. He fed the puck ahead. Gardner thought that the centerman was going to take it. They both let it go. It went down for icing. Face-off coming down in Canada's zone. Hartsburg had fed that puck across to Reinhardt, and a real good shot by Paul Reinhardt off the pass. Fine save by Tretyak. 5 on the doorstep, couldn't put it away. And that's Seglin, trainer, that was a little frustrated after that stick call, and now he's going back probably to look at some more.
Soviets leading 3-1, 41 seconds remaining in the 2 Soviet penalties. Shepeliev. Kozhevnikov is in the penalty box along with Gamayev. Kozhevnikov, Gamayev, and Makarov have scored the goals for the Soviets. Barber scored for Canada the opening goal of the game. Howardchuk is knocked against the board. Canada on the power play. It comes back to Giles. Here's Giles' shot. That's stopped by Tretyak. Luktov cleared it down the ice. 21 seconds left in the power play as Giles goes deep in his own zone for Canada. A pass intended for Gainey got away from him. Tretyak steers the puck to the corner. FETISOV. 9 seconds left in the double minors to the Soviets. And Canada has not really had a good scoring opportunity. Here's Gretzky winding up in his own zone. The penalties are over. Gretzky's over the line as Johnny broke his stick. And FETISOV has the puck. Cleared it around the board. Here's Gamayev. Soviets on the attack. Gamayev with Kozhevnikov getting set. His shot looped off, and he's stopped by Greg Millen as the Soviets came dangerously close there to increasing the lead. 13 minutes and 5 seconds left in the 3rd period. Back in the Soviet zone, Bob Gainey gets it to Cicerelli. Dino Cicerelli, number 17. Pucked against the boards by Igor Larionov. Now it's brought out by Kozhevnikov, number 16. Just steers the puck into the Team Canada zone. Bobby Smith in there after it, and he comes up with it. Smith of the Minnesota North Stars, number 15. Up to center, the pass intended for Maxwell. That was intercepted by Makarov. Now Smith gets it back for Canada. Here's Smith coming over the line, and it's slapped off his stick. Makarov and Maxwell, but Brad Maxwell gets back quickly to cover up. He gives it to Darryl Sittler, who handed it right to the Soviet player Larionov. Now Canada has it again. Here's Napier coming in, a shot, and that's stopped by TRETYAK. And the Soviets come out of their own zone. Makarov ahead now to Krutov, and it's slapped off his stick. Cleared off the boards, and Smith has it for Canada. As we approach the 8-minute mark here in the third period, Smith to the Soviet line, looking for someone to pass it to. Hit Makarov with the pass, gets it back, directs it behind the net. Mark Napier chased by BABINOV. He dumps it into the corner to Darryl Sittler. In front, here's a shot, he scores! Paul Reinhart scores for Canada.
Get a little excited on that one. A fine three-way passing play, you'll see right here. And Sittler spotting Reinhart, who had moved in from the point all alone. And Reinhart getting a good, fast wrist shot away up high on TRETYAK. Smith going behind the net as a decoy. Reinhart moving in from the point in the slot area, putting that one by TRETYAK and putting Canada just one goal shy.
So Paul Reinhart gets the goal, and it's 3-2 now. This is the World Hockey Championship on CTV. Back to the action here in Tampere, Finland. The Soviets lead Canada 3-2. And Canada with possession now. Reinhart, who scored that last goal, gives the puck to Hartsburg. Hartsburg a pass ahead to Bill Barber. Barber gets it ahead now to Five. Five coming in. He's knocked against the boards by Bilyaletdinov. Then Kapustin takes a shot at him. Puck in behind the Soviet net. Bilyaletdinov, Five after him. Five comes up with it, and Bilyaletdinov pushes him against the Soviet net.
Bilyaletdinov was
Well, we'll be back in a moment. The World Hockey Championships on CTV. We have 10 minutes and 46 seconds left to play in the third period. The Soviets lead Canada 3-2. This is Bernie Pascal along with Lou Nanny. And in our Toronto studios, Dan Matheson and Tom Watt. Action-packed game here at the World Hockey Championship. Puck is cleared in. Drozdetsky in the corner. Lowe checked him. Now it comes loose in front. Here's Drozdetsky, a shot. And Mellon stops that drive from Drozdetsky. Gabayev, number 18. He gets it back to КАСАТОНОВ. He fakes a shot, and he's checked. Here's a chance now for Canada. Dale Howardchuk coming right in. A shot, and it goes wide. As Howardchuk was pressured as he tried to get that shot away. A good move by Howardchuk as he broke out of the Team Canada zone. Now it's cleared behind the net. FETISOV. 10 minutes remaining in the third period. The Soviets lead Canada 3-2. And the Soviet player is knocked down. Now Canada, deep in their own zone. One goal separating these two teams as Kevin Lowe brings it out. Gives it to Bob Gainey. Gainey up on the left side. Goes after the puck. Here's Gainey in front. Smith took a swing at it, but it bounced away. Brad Maxwell passes it over to Rick Green. Green inside his own line. 9.5 minutes left in the third period. It's cleared in by Bob Gainey. The fans start cheering. Go, Canada, go. Green can't control it as it comes off the board. It'll be icing, though, as Brad Maxwell touches it. Icing against the Soviet Union.
Well, Dale Howardchuk had an excellent chance, as you were seeing, Bernie. And just previous to that, 4 or 5 minutes ago, remember when the Soviets had a 3-on-1? He was the man that came back and cut it down to a 3-on-2 when they missed that try. Dale Howardchuk right here with that breakaway. Getting the shot away as he's being pressured. What a fine hockey player this youngster is. Only 18 years of age, out of Cornwall Juniors and the Winnipeg Jets. And he's going to be a hero around Winnipeg for a long, long time.
Dale Howardchuk, the Rookie of the Year, selected by Hockey News. And the Coach of the Year, selected by Hockey News, Tom Watt, who's working with us on this telecast in Toronto. There's Barber's shot, comes back. Brad Maxwell for Canada behind the net. Wayne Gretzky setting up. Here's Gretzky in front. And that shot was knocked away, and it's brought out by Kozhevnikov. Overskates it. Gets it again. Kozhevnikov cleared it over, and it's shot into the Team Canada zone. Kozhevnikov goes after it there. Vasiliev and Babinov on defense for the Soviets. Has 5 now. Number 22 for Canada. Ahead to Darryl Sittler. A shot off Vasiliev's skate and goes wide. Back into the Team Canada zone. Art Napier, watched by Golikov. Passed it off the boards to Rick Green. He clears it in. Sittler's checked by Vasiliev. They go into the corner after it, but it's called on an offside. And the face-off will come to the center ice area.
And Canada has really picked up the tempo, getting quite a few good opportunities. They're moving very well. They're passing crisply. They seem to have gotten a great deal of life from that goal, and they've been putting pressure on ever since the outset. Even though they had a 5-on-3 and didn't score, they seem to come on from that point. They've narrowed the lead to 3-2, and now are getting some real fine opportunities.
Soviets, here's Krutov coming in. Krutov, and he's checked by Hartsburg, who's played a strong game defensively for Canada. Reinhardt, who scored the last Team Canada goal. Barber has the other goal for Canada. Puck in the Canadian zone, cleared off the boards, but not out. It's brought back into the corner. Krutov trying to get it loose to Makarov. He's stopped, and Bobby Clark backhands it the other way. П.Памоэл keeps it in for the Soviets. Krutov behind the net, dumps it in front, and it's intercepted by Paul Reinhardt. 7:49 left to play in the third period. Here's a chance for the Soviets. Lariana, he scores! Set up perfectly in front, and it's 4-2.
Well, the Soviets capitalizing at that time. Canada playing with one player with a broken stick. He goes to the bench, a 5-on-4. They got the puck in the corner. And as you see, the pass out right from the corner puts the Soviets up 4-2. It doesn't take them long to capitalize. The upper part of your screen, you can see a Canadian player going to the bench, Sittler, to get a stick. He had a broken stick. There's nothing he could do about it. And the moment he had to leave that point, the man moved in an outman situation, a fine pass, and a good shot. The Soviets up 4-2. Larionov putting them ahead.
And Makarov gets an assist on that goal here in the third period. 7:45 left to play. Now 2 goals separating the Soviets and Canada once again. Puck is cleared up to Gartner. Now Dale Howardchuk takes it over the line. Howardchuk wearing number 18. The puck goes into the corner to Gartner. In front, back to the blue line. Kevin Lowe slaps at it. Gartner is checked with a high stick by Shepeliev. And the puck is underneath them. And this is the World Hockey. Welcome back to Tampere, Finland. Bernie Pascal, along with Lou Nanny and our ZTV sports crew. It's the Soviets leading Team Canada by a score of 4-2. And it's an evening game here in Tampere. In fact, it's 10 minutes after 8 p.m. Of course, in Vancouver now, it's 10 after 9 in the morning, and just lunchtime in Eastern Canada, 10 minutes after 12. But here, it's evening, 10 minutes after 8. Now the Soviets get a shot. Greg MILLEN comes up with it and takes no chances with 2 Soviet players standing right there.
I thought maybe he was going to skate right over to the dot and lay the puck down for him. Greg MILLEN playing a strong game in the net for Canada. He had 2 Soviets right on his doorstep, so he held on to it and got the face-off.
The 2 linesmen for this game are both from Finland. There's one of them, that's P.Pamoэл, and he's a school teacher here in Tampere. The referee is Д.Олссон from Sweden. 7 minutes and 1 second remain in the third period. with the Soviets leading Canada 4-2. And in Helsinki, Finland and Sweden, a 3-3 tie.
We're going to have another stick measurement, Bernie. They're going to try Drozdetsky's now. Before they're done, the Soviets are going to need all new sticks if they're illegal.
Well, you pointed out, Lou, they were checking all the sticks at the bench. It'll be interesting to see what happens here.
They got it. Well, you should see their sticks when they're out by the stick rack. They've got real large curves in them. I wonder that they don't realize that. You know, before, a couple games ago, the U.S. team, we have the storage room there, and we were trying to get in, and the trainer forgot his key, so he was going to walk back to get a key. The Russian trainer came over at Segland with a key and opened our storage room. Didn't look very nice. So we tried our key in their room, didn't work.
And also, point out here, too, the two dressing rooms, Canada and the Soviets, are side by side at the end of a corridor.
And all the sticks are right outside the door, so Fred Berenson, Marsh Johnson, and Dave King, the coaches, were looking over all those sticks before the game. Made some good calls here.
So the Soviets undefeated with 6 straight victories. They have 12 points. Czechoslovakia defeated Italy 10-0 today, so Czechoslovakia, for the moment at least, are second with 9. Canada and Sweden are tied next with 8 points apiece. And it gets very testy from then on, because Finland, with a win today, would move into the round-robin competition, eliminating Sweden. But that game is tied up in the third period. So numerous things can happen. There are numerous possibilities as far as the 4 final playoff spots are concerned. Here's Gretzky, a pass, stopped by TRETYAK. As Canada on the power play had a scoring opportunity there by Rick By. Now Reinhardt gets it ahead to Brian Propp. Over to Hartsburg. Zlukov checked him. Allen comes away out of the net. 1:20 left in the Soviet penalty to Drozdetsky. Hartsburg, number 4 for Canada, gives it to Paul Reinhardt. Here's Reinhardt behind the Soviet net. Oh, and he tried to get the pass. Cicerelli went one way, the puck the other. Now it's up to center. 5 for Team Canada. He clears it over. Now Hartsburg brings it in. Hartsburg up over the line with Gretzky. Gretzky cleared it, and the Soviet player intercepts. That's Vladimir Golikov. And he clears it off the boards into the Team Canada zone. Canada power play has not been effective in this game tonight. But you have to give the Soviets credit. They've been very impressive offensively and defensively. They lead 4-2. Here's Mark Napier over to Gretzky. Gretzky's check. FETISOV tried to get it. Gretzky kicks it to Mark Napier. 3 Canadians behind the net. Now Cicerelli gives it to Kurt Giles. He backhands it into the corner. Giles gives it to Napier. Mark Napier trying to come in front. Cicerelli has it for Canada. Over to Gretzky. Gretzky back to Brad Maxwell. He fanned on his shot. Gretzky lets it go, and that hit a skate and goes wide. 5 seconds remaining in the power play. FETISOV slaps it, but not out. Brad Maxwell. Here's Cicerelli behind the net. He's checked there. Goes after the puck. He falls down, and the puck is knocked loose in behind the net. Napier goes after it, and it's shot down the ice by FETISOV. And going back is Giles for Team Canada, dicing against the Soviet Union. This is the World Hockey Championship on. We're back at Tampere, Finland. Barber's shot, that hit a defenseman and goes back out to the center ice area. Hartsburg clears it off the boards to Bill Barber. Barber to Rick Green. 4.5 minutes left to play in the game with the Soviets leading Canada 4-2. It's cleared ahead. Darryl Sittler trying to dig it loose. Here's Bobby Clark. Clark, number 16, checked by Pervukin. The puck comes to Makarov. Makarov back for the Soviets. Over to Krutov. His long shot. And that's stopped by Greg Mills. Leaves it for Craig Hartsburg. Hartsburg, number 4, gets a pass to Bobby Clark. Back to Hartsburg. Both teams at full strength. Hartsburg clears the puck in. Howard Chuck comes out now as Canada changes on the go. Krutov overskates it. It's stolen by Gartner. Gartner passed in front. Here's Howard Chuck, and he couldn't get a shot as he was stopped by Pervukin. Propp, his drive. He scores!
And that was a drive, Bernie.
What a shot by Brian Propp.
Some work by Howard Chuck along the boards, and as soon as that puck was free, Brian Propp just coming on from a line change, pounced on it, and did he let a bullet go? Howardchuk doing the forechecking Propp right here in the upper corner, and then that puck sailed by TRETьяк. He didn't move till it was coming out of the net. And Brian Propp has made just a tremendous adjustment to hockey on a big ice surface. The coaches were saying yesterday that they're extremely pleased the way he plays over here. He's learned to use the full ice surface. He's an excellent skater anyway, a great shooter, and he's playing with such enthusiasm. Every time a Canadian boy was scoring a goal, he'd be jumping on the ice. He'd come out every goal, even if he was coming out alone.
Well, the former outstanding junior with Brandon, who scored 94 goals one year. Brian Propp gets a goal here for Canada. He's in his third NHL season with Philadelphia Flyers. We have 3:35 left to play in the game. One goal separating Team Canada and the Soviet Union. This is Giles. He's checked by Shalamov, but gets the puck ahead to Brian Propp. Propp clears it off the board. Canada on the attack. Here's Dale Howardchuk. Gardner in front. Oh, and he went after the puck, and it deflected off his stick, but missed the net. Gardner in front again. And it's cleared off the boards out to center. Canada putting on some pressure now. Here's Gardner coming in, but it's called offside at the Soviet line. This is the World Hockey Championship on the final 3 minutes of the game. The Soviets lead Canada 4-3. Now this is Vladimir Golikov up over the line, trying to drop it there for Kozhevnikov. It's backhanded into the Team Canada corner. Rick 5. He's watched by Kozhevnikov. The puck comes out to center. FETISOV over to Kozhevnikov. He's knocked down by 5. Oh, can you believe it? The referee was not calling a penalty. The slowest arm in the West, I guess, as he raised his arm. 5 is penalized.
I don't think his arm even got to the top. He heard some of the crowd just moan, and all of a sudden his arm went up in slow motion, as you said. You'll see right here, Vive just actually pushing the man down. Breaking on the outside, Lutzoff breaking on the outside, and Д.Олссон called it trippy.
Oh, Canada. Costly penalty here in the late going with just one goal separating the two teams, and Canada will have a lot of work killing off the potent power play of the Soviets.
The Soviets must have ran out and got a bunch of finished coins. They probably didn't have any money to measure the rest of the sticks to make sure that it's not pulled on them again here. Canada with man short, needing another goal to tie this game.
Face-off is in the Team Canada zone to the right of goaltender Greg МИЛЛЕН, just at the top of the face-off circle. MILLEN's played an outstanding game for Team Canada today.
They're trying to stick again.
Well, a stick measurement. This is some sort of record, I'm sure. Let's see what Mr. Olson does this time. Penalty? Well, there you are.
I love it. Look at the trainer signaling.
The Soviets are going to be looking for a new trainer pretty soon.
His head looks like a bead. He's so red right now down there.
They call him Curly.
Krutov going off with a legal stick. Now it's 4 against 4. Now they're checking their own sticks on the bench, a couple of them.
Well, Tikhonov, the coach, very upset. Oh, Krutov gets a penalty, playing with an illegal stick.
Vasilyev's asking, where are you measuring from? Why are they illegal?
Hey, check that stick. So the Soviets, Krutov in the penalty box. It's 4-3.
They're gonna spend a couple hours tonight, Bernie, checking all their sticks for the playoff round starting tomorrow.
So we're going to have an action-packed finish to this game as the Soviet captain Vasiliev heads to the bench. Of course, in the first round of the playoffs tomorrow, it'll be the number 1 team. That'll be the Soviets against number 4. And that's anyone's guess at this point, because Sweden and Finland still engaged in their game in Helsinki this afternoon. And that's tied in the third period. So tomorrow in the first playoff, it'll be Team 1 against Team 4, and then Team 2 against Team 3. The only thing that's assured at this point is that the Soviets will be number 1. But anything could happen because Czechoslovakia is second with 9 points. Canada and Sweden tied with 8. Finland has 6 points, and Finland with a win today over Sweden, then they'd be in because although they'd be tied in points, the victory today would give Finland the nod. So anything can happen there. Here's Gretzky coming in for Canada. Gretzky is checked, and they're calling it an offside play.
Sweden and Finland tied 3-3. There's a final score just going up on the board.
So Finland doesn't make it now. They finish with 7. So the 4 teams are the Soviets, Czechoslovakia, Canada, and Sweden in the championship round. But only the Soviets are guaranteed a spot right now, number 1. The other 3 are still up for grabs. Okay, back to the action here. 1:38 remaining in the penalty. Here's a chance now. Gartner trying to get it in front. 5 in the penalty box for Canada. Krutov in the penalty box for the Soviet Union. Makarov is checked by Gartner. 2 minutes left to play in the third period and the game. The final 2 minutes. Here's Hartsburg ahead now to Mike Gartner. Gartner's over the line trying to get it to Gretzky. Kasatonov, a break now for the Soviets. 3-on-1. Krutov with Makarov. Kasatonov. What a save by Greg MILLEN as he robbed Makarov. 1:40 left to play. Gretzky brings it back for Canada. Here's Gretzky trying to get it in front, digging for the puck, and Makarov has it for the Soviets. Makarov coming up. The pass comes on the right side. Larionov, his shot, that's gloved by goaltender Greg MILLEN. 1:23 left to play in the game. Brad Maxwell. The penalized players have 41 seconds left in their penalty. Here's Brian Propp trying to catch up to it, and the puck comes out to center ice. 1 minute, 10 seconds left to play. The Soviets lead 4-3. Brad Maxwell, his pass to Bill Barber. Barber coming in on the left side. Barber behind the net. Howard-Chuck's in front, and the shot is stopped by TRETYAK. And the Soviets, Tumanev gets it out to center ice. 48 seconds left, and there will be an elbowing penalty to Team Canada. Now Tumanev pushes at Bill Barber of Canada, and a bit of a mix-up at center ice. But a costly elbowing penalty now to Canada's Bill Barber.
That's right, and Canada just getting ready to pull the goaltender at that time. Now they're going to be a man short. Tumanev getting a little upset. He'd already been hit in another game. He had a bandage over his eye. Here's the elbow right there, just as Barber was going out of the picture, and referee Д.Олссон on the spot. Now Canada going to be a man short and needing to get an opportunity to tie this game up.
And the Soviets still over at the bench. Now they send Drozdetsky out there. I believe Pervukhin will also be heading out. So we have 51 seconds left to play in the game.
Bill Barber, as he walked around the net that time, as we look at Craig Hartsburg, who's lost a great deal of ice time tonight for the Canadian team, came right around. They allowed him to come right out from behind. He took a shot, but TRETYAK stood right up. He didn't give him anything to shoot at, and the rebound just went by Mike Gartner's stick.
Soviets lead Canada 4-3. Harold Sittler's out there with Hartsburg now and Paul Reinhardt. Hartsburg has the puck, then overskates it. Here's a break. Fluktoff in the Canadian zone all alone. Fluktoff coming in front, but overskated the puck. 38 seconds left to play. Hartsburg for Canada. Gets the pass up on the right side. Paul Reinhardt goes after it. He'll be offside if he touches the puck. Now it's cleared ahead to Drozdetsky. Drozdetsky for the Soviets. Drops it to Kasatonov. He swings back inside his own line. Canada a man short now as Krutov has the puck. 17 seconds left to play. Krutov at the line, shoots it in. Off the boards, Reinhardt after it with 10 seconds left. And the Soviets leading by 1. Puck cleared off the skate, down the ice, into the Soviet zone, 4 seconds. Here's FETISOV. Bobby Clark's after him. It's cleared off the boards, out to center, and the game is over. And the Soviet Union defeats Team Canada by a score of 4-3. TRETYAK all the way in goal. He'll be 30 years of age tomorrow, so he gets an early birthday present, and it's a win over Canada. The World Hockey Championship on CTV.